Michael Steadman, Marine Corps veteran. He's been on Lacey City Council. He's a small business owner, and he's got issues that are amazingly similar to ours, and this is great. I mean, he was into preserving the Rocky Prairie and the environment around there. He's just, good for the environment is what he's looking for, but he's also looking to preserve rural, lands too in here. And if we have the next slide, please. And because we've got to have affordable housing, but we want to decrease urban sprawl. And so that means we're going to have higher density housing. Well, that needs to be monitored. And this man seems to be having a platform when I go to his website, and it has some of the answers, or at least place where to start working. And, certainly the criminal justice options, there's got to be more than just lock them up. That does nothing, but the younger they are, you lock them up, the longer they're going to be a criminal. So, and also improving water quality. This is something that, we can't live without water. This is probably the most crucial thing we've got going worldwide right now. So, and I do remember one thing I forgot in housekeeping. I should have announced that we are recording this. So if you don't like it, leave now. But first, go volunteer somewhere before you leave. And otherwise, everybody's being recorded somehow tonight for posterity's sake, probably in case we can use it for campaign purposes, more than likely. So, and I think that's about all we've got on building up to Mr. Steadman, and I can see he's right here. And I'm hoping he's ready to take off and roll and give us a little bit of a talk for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll have you have a few questions and hopefully a few answers.
Well, absolutely. I'll start off that I don't have all the answers. I'm not an expert on everything. I lean on my constituents that elect me to office so I can do my job the best and the most efficient way possible. It's your government, and it's not serving you at the capacity it should. I'm Michael Steadman. Many of you might live in Lacey, and I'm your current Lacey council member. I'm in the end of my second term, so I'm almost 7 years of serving the community of Lacey as a council member, and I served a term as a Lacey planning commissioner as well. My family and I have owned our business here in Thurston County since the late 1980s. My dad recently passed away, so it's a little bittersweet when I talk about that, but very proud of what our family has accomplished here regionally and making it a home for everybody. So my background, a family of working class, middle class people that, they got good, decent union jobs, and you don't have to be union to have a good paying job or decent job. But it provided us with a living wage job. Every one of us. My dad was a refrigeration mechanic. I was a sheet metal mechanic. My brother was a steam fitter. My niece is a plumber. My grandfather was a millwright, and my twin brother, even though he's law enforcement, he was the guild president. So, and it goes way back generations of working class. We're disciplined enough and skilled enough to be able to save some money. We bought some houses and fixed them up over the years while my dad was working at Lockheed, and then eventually became a sheet metal worker himself, even though he was refrigeration. It used to be the trade that the sheet metal workers did. Now it's the plumbers and fitters, for the most part. And so got in the trades shortly after high school and joined the Marine Corps. My dad was part of the Big Red One. He just missed the Korean War, but he had 3 sons, and all 3 of us Marine Corps served proudly in the Marine Corps. And even that's my twin brother right there.
Whoops.
To the iPad. So I'm going to put it on airplane mode so that doesn't happen again. I forgot to do that. That's my twin brother right there, and his oldest son, Hunter, is in Kings Bay, Georgia, protecting the subs in North Carolina, in Georgia. And Dylan just got off active duty. He's a cannoneer in the Marine Corps, and he's currently going to Washington State University and the Officer Candidate School. My older brother was during the Beirut days, and we're just proud serving, hardworking, middle class, grassroots family that turned some houses after 30 years into some commercial property. All of us, being unionized laborers, building class journeymen, are good Democrats, and so we value things like good, clean drinking water, proper infrastructure that prepares for growth and businesses. So you're not trying to scramble to make them fit. They already have a place, and proper planning. And it's really, it's not rocket science. It's just common sense, really. But if you're only serving a small percentage of the community, you're not going to be prepared for everything that goes with your whole region and the whole efforts behind it. I love what John had to say when it came to a lot of things as you're building me up, but multimodal everything. It's not just transportation. I get back to simple stuff. Keep rural, keep urban. It's really as simple as that. And you'll hear a lot from my campaign about the 3 I's. Inclusion is number one, because when everybody has a voice, you're going to hear all walks of life and experiences and all the brainstorming and great ideas that come out of that. And you take a little bit of everybody's great ideas and you come up with an awesome solution. But you have to put it to work. Our current commissioner that I'm running against has spent years on things like the courthouse just to have put it on the shelf. And so you're wasting millions of dollars to go through the planning process, including the public, and you don't do nothing with it. And they're all about transparency and putting things out to vote for the people so that people have their say. But when it actually comes down to it, it's only for the things that they believe in. They don't believe in the courthouse. At least they did until the process said it was going to go to Olympia, and then they were no longer part of that process. So again, they're not representing all of us. One is no longer part of the deal, and it's time to get the second one out of the deal, and they can follow the third one that left a couple years ago. This government, especially our local governments, the county government, has to work for the people. That's when it's the best and the most efficient. And when people feel a part of their government, they feel a part of their home and their community. And you don't have riots, and you don't have all the things that go along with it. You have unity. You have people that are vested, that care about each other, and you have hope. And that's what part of the puzzle that we're missing here is hope. People are losing hope because they don't think, they're afterthought. The people in some of these positions put themselves first, and then you get all basically the crap left over. And this government's supposed to work for the people, not just for the people that are in the position of representing them. So having said that, the second one, most important, is infrastructure. Okay, the 3 I's, infrastructure. We've neglected our infrastructure for 40 years. If my family business did that, we would not be in business. We have to take care of the things we build with one-time monies and value them and respect them and do our due diligence. We take an oath of office to and swear that we're going to be responsible to the taxpayers' money. And that's all I hear from the other side, and all I do is see failures time and time again. So in Lacey, we're not perfect, but we're getting a lot of it right, and we're really being an example. I mean, look at the Lacey Veterans Service Hub, okay? And that's another thing I want to touch base on what John said. So Lacey Veterans Service Hub, we deal with mental health, we deal with housing, we deal with mental crisis, all of it. And because you put veterans attached to it, nobody brings their preconceived negativity or any of the things along with it. It's not, hey, lock them up on McNeil Island and throw away the key. And I tell people, does that mean that all the kids that are homeless in North Thurston Public Schools or Tumwater Unified School District or Olympia? Is it the elderly population, right? Is it the people living one paycheck away from disaster that had a transmission go out and all of a sudden they guess they can't get to work, so they lose a job? You lose your job, now you're homeless. Are those people need to be locked up on McNeil Island, right? It's irresponsible. And, America is strongest when we have empathy and compassion for one another, and we help each other. when we can't do everything for everybody, but we can help each other and make life a little bit easier. So the last thing I did inclusion, right, and infrastructure, innovation. Guys, I worked in a nuclear lab. I worked in pharmacies, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, you name it. I had above top secret security clearance at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. I rebuilt the exhaust system for the superblock that formed the very first nuclear warhead. If that's not trustworthy, I don't know. Only 0.1% of the whole United States citizenry has ever been in there, let alone worked there 7 days a week for several years. That was me. Okay, I'm post-certified. Gary's a police officer, right? My twin brother's a police officer, 28 years, almost 29. Post-certified is what California certifies their police officers through the academy with. I have it. So all the good that Gary has, and it's not much, I have. None of the garbage or like the movie Twins, the purity and strength, and he got all the crap left over, that kind of deal. But and that's the thing. We have to be able to have regular discussions without turning it into a teenage, hissy fit or, and storm out and I'm taking all my toys with me and leaving and you guys have at it and basically have a tantrum. We're all grown adults. These are real problems that affect real people's lives. And I'm here to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So innovation, simple things like, getting these 1960s and 70s technology intersections to talk to each other. It's not, if we could do this on Zoom, we can get all our intersections to do the same thing, and it's like, it sounds like it's a lot, but it's not a heavy lift. In Lacey, we have almost all LEDs throughout the city because we went and did something super small, like buy 2,000 LED lights over the course of the year. And as every street light goes out, we replace it with LED. Now are we not only lowering our carbon footprint, but all the energy that we're not wasting on the grid that can go somewhere else, or you don't have to produce as much, it's not, it's not hard decisions to make here. They're easy lifts. Let's get the low hanging fruit. And then we can do big things to really impact, like, get cars that burn less, get better fuel mileage, or, hydrogen powered vehicles that run 1 million miles before you have to ever do anything besides the brakes and tires. We have it in us. We just have to have the political will to do it. And you don't have to, go into so much debt to do it. There's companies out there ready to invest because they know it's going to be a gold mine as soon as the people are willing to back it. You're not going to get backing if you don't have political will. Nobody as politicians anymore are going to stick their neck out there to do the right thing because they like their position. I was looking for a job when I found this one, and I don't ever have to look for a job look for a job for 2 weeks once in my life. And I got the job within hours, and it's because I always do the right thing. I work hard, and I listen is my best skill. But then when it's time to, once the discussion's over, and you never stop having discussion, even once you get shot out the starting gate, right, until the finish, you still have those discussions, and you just improvise and adapt. But you have to do something. And you'll hear me talk about the courthouse. 3.5 years working on that thing. And they just put it on the shelf because it's a political safe thing to do, even though him being more conservative and always saying, let the people decide. Let them decide about the fireworks. Let them decide about plastic bags. Let them decide. Oh, don't let them decide about the courthouse. They might actually want it. So I got a lot of things I can talk about and hammer on, but I'm a pretty positive person, and I'm a get things done kind of person, and I hold people accountable in the right ways and not the wrong ways, the more positive ways. And in a team effort, working together, we get it done a lot faster. So that's it. I just drove through exit 111 coming here, and there was only like 5 cars on the whole deck. All the lanes are open. It's 5 o'clock when I drove over it on Friday, middle of rush hour, and traffic was flowing like super smooth. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. So it's exciting when you have projects like that and they show immediate impact. And we finished it at almost 3/4 of a year early, under budget. It was supposed to be $100-something million project, 30-something million, 40 million. So all that money can go to other state projects to fix issues where they live to raise their quality of life. So when they're not at work and they're spending time with their family and their friends, they get to spend quality time. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why I moved here, man. I moved back to Lacey because they had a great school system. Diverse housing. My neighborhood has first-time homeowner houses. They have the single dwelling houses. They have senior housing and multi-family housing. And that's what you need, diversity. And that's what we have. That's our strength here in Thurston County. We are diverse. It reminds me of, I'm the only one, me and my twin brother, not born in Washington. We were born in the Bay Area, but we were, everybody was the same. It was like, 20% of whites and blacks and Mexicans, and talk about diverse. So that's never been a hurdle for me. It's kind of foreign for me to, even remotely consider people might not think or hold people in the same regards as they hold themselves or their family and friends. So I don't know. I'm just excited because there's only one direction we can go with, especially in regards to District 2 in Thurston County for commissioner, and that is up. I'm not happy with sideways, and we've been going down, spiraling down for a long time. The people deserve better. They really do. And I couldn't sit on the sidelines knowing I could do something about it, because I wanted to do something about it, but I felt like it's, wasn't my time or wasn't my turn, or I was maybe out of place. I didn't think my business was finished in Lacey, but Lacey will be just fine. Lacey will be just fine, especially with a better partner. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to Gary Edwards in Thurston County, is he is a terrible partner. I mean, it took him 2 years to get on board with the Lacey Veteran Service Hub, and it was only because it was veterans attached to it. Everything else, where is he, right? And having said that, and I'll hammer on that a little bit more, the Veterans Hub. So if we're serving our veterans and finding them housing and finding them mental health and finding them, services, as soon as you take that veteran label off, then it's like, oh, now in Gary's words, we're servicing a bunch of bums. We're all human beings, you know what I mean? We all have worth and we should all be valued, and the making of a society is how you treat your most vulnerable. And it's deplorable and disgusting that another person would talk that way about someone else, especially when they're down on their luck. It doesn't matter how we get there, but we got a lot of things in place, like the diversionary courts, Veterans Court, awesome, right? That maybe not something we want to talk about, but DUI court or drug court, they work. Diversion, get these people the help they need, right? Not shove them further down in the ditch, and we just have to be better humans to each other when it all boils down to it. But like I said, I'm excited, and I could talk forever because there's only one way to go, and that's up. And I'm not interested in going backwards or down or right, just up, because I know when your quality of life for you and your family and your friends and your neighbors is better, my quality of life for my family and my friends and my neighbors is up. And that's where I get my win, because I don't need this job. You know, yeah, I get to make a few extra bucks. So what? It takes time away from my family, but I know that time is well spent because they will benefit greatly from it because you're benefiting from it. So I don't know. It's, unless you stop me, I'm just going to keep going.
Well, how about a question?
Sure.
And it fits right into some of what you're just saying. Here's one that said, one of the participants here would like to hear what your ideas are about helping mental health issues that lead to homelessness.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'm harp on it again, you know. Let's just make everybody a veteran, and then they'll have automatic value and worth.
Right.
Okay. So I didn't serve for me, right? Or the other veterans. I served for the people that couldn't serve, the people that can't stand up or protect themselves, and not just here, but abroad. You know, nobody in Afghanistan deserves to not go to school because they're the wrong sex, or, you know, whatever. You know, I mean, let's just treat homelessness and value people. And if they happen to be veterans, or they happen to be elderly, or they happen to be a child or children, so much the better. But let's just serve people.
Love it. Love what I'm hearing. That about answers all these questions as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not sure if the people writing the questions would agree with me. So, well, we'll go back to something that's real current. You know, everybody here probably does know about the faction in Thurston County that's already attacked Carolina Mejia. And thankfully that was dismissed today. It still is a stain on our whole community. And so the question is are you expecting any attacks from the right wing on you and your campaign?
You know, I like to, think of Gary back in the early 90s, where he still had some decency among him. But, you know, everything's polarizing nowadays, you know, and we have to stay above the fray. We need to concentrate on us. I'm not really concerned. They're going to have to dig for a long time to find something on me. You know what I mean? So, and if they find something that's going to be really minor, you know, I'm not worried about it. Nobody's perfect. But I have a track record of, ever since I was a kid, of always treating people with dignity and respect and value, always doing the right thing, even if it meant less for me, you know, and stand up for what's right, you know. I got in a lot of fights when I was younger, but it wasn't because I didn't like somebody or they didn't like me. It's because they weren't treating somebody decent enough in my presence. And so I had to stand up and say something. And a lot of times that resulted in, well, maybe I'll just bring that over towards you. And then they found out that was a bad idea. But, you know, growing and maturing, because that was teenagers and below. But as an adult, I learned that talking and finding out what the true root of people's anger and anxiety or whatever it is, and getting down to just personal level and showing the value towards them, that a lot of times that can be avoided, you know, because us as politicians, when we fail at the talking and the debating or trying to get to a common ground, then it gets really bad. So we can't have that. We can't fail as politicians. There's some people we won't be able to get through to, but the vast majority, even the Garys to most extents, you know, and I believe I have that relationship with nearly everybody, even if they're on the polar opposite of me. I have a lot of friends that are friends with Gary or Gary-like or Gary-esque people, and they value me because they know I care, and they know it's not all talk, and they know I'll get down there and get my hands and feet and knees dirty and do whatever I got to do to make it better. And so that resonates, you know what I mean? Gary will say he's a good person, but you won't get the percentage of the population that would say, especially on the both extremes of the political or whatever debate or topic you're discussing, and see the value in him as much as they see with me, because they know I'm in it for the right reasons. And there's a lot of times where I made decisions because I knew that's what my community wanted me to vote, how they wanted me to vote, and I didn't necessarily vote exactly the way I felt. Now I debated and I try to, my thing is, if I feel a certain way, change my mind. You use your debating skills to show me why I'm wrong, or why all these people convince me that this is the right thing to do, and have that discussion. And if they can't do it, then I stay where I'm at. So.
Right. Thank you. We got several people that are interested on your thoughts on how we can better protect our unique, prairie ecosystems and our, estuaries. We have a lot of rare habitats and species around here, and
it's a blessed.
Yeah, but we're threatened with the increased population. And I know on your website you talk about maintaining these areas as well as urban growth. And could you explain some of your ideas there?
That's the whole idea about the UGA, and I don't think it's a theory. I think it works if you actually use it. It's mandated by law, and still to this day, the county's going out and building houses with septic systems, and what are we doing? Maybe there was some sort of an excuse 45 years ago for doing that, but now today, there's no excuse that should be happening. But it boils down to keep rural and keep urban. We got the technology. We can build good fish ladders for our fish to get through, and passageways, and so they can spawn, and it really, and then if they're doing good, then the orcas are doing good. But it all starts with our drinking water. We can do everything for them, but if they're living in a polluted environment, they're not going to be healthy. And the number one cause of that is stormwater. Now, we've seen vast improvements of stormwater infrastructure improvements, and getting that from pouring into our sound and in our lakes and estuaries and stuff. But the other thing is, the sooner we help the most vulnerable, which a good portion of them are the homeless, then that means they're not in our wetlands. They're not on our waterways. They're not in the crucial areas and the habitats where all these, sensitive creatures live, And yeah, I do commercial real estate, but my family knows the value of that. We can work and coexist with the habitat and the creatures around it. It doesn't take that much, but if everybody else is getting out of doing that, doing the right thing, and you're only leaving it down to 1 or 2% to build things right and be responsible, then you get just that. You're only 90% of it is being harmful. So, but that's where you want to have the development, is in the urban core. And if we incentivize that, that's the way the market works. The free market works. It's, again, not rocket science. Incentivize them to do the things we want, to show the values that we have as a community. And that goes with our hauling, our garbage service, solid waste. It's, do we really want to recycle all 1 through 9s plastics and that, and have 70% of it go to the landfill? Or do we want to get like the 3 and 5s and at least up to the 7s or so and recycle them at a 99.9% recycled rate? That's where we get our big wins, and it doesn't take that much. Here's another thing. When we go to RFP, which the county's trying to push their RFP through right now, their garbage service, we're going to compete with Kitsap County, who has the exact same tonnage as we do. But the infrastructure and the companies out there that there's only 3 or 4 that can do the job. Now they're taxed already, and they don't want to go through a bid process any sooner than they have to, and then try to get all the infrastructure all at the same time. That's a competition too. So if we force them to go to RFP, it's going to cost us more. But we have a 5-year option guaranteeing that we'll pay no more than what we paid last year and then all the years before. But the problem with it, well, I mean, so just competing with Kitsap alone is going to cost us more. Okay? And then they're going to be fighting for the same infrastructure and transportation to get it down to the same places we're going to take it. Only thing that could be worse is if they drive it or take it all the way down to Oregon. Then they're using all our infrastructure to feed jobs in Oregon, wearing down our highways, wearing down our rails, clogging our roads, and all that money's going to Oregon and non-union shop. Or at least here, we use our rail system, we use our freeway system, we have the port even, and then it goes to Roosevelt, where that's union shop, where hey, some companies actually convert and build $34 million pieces of infrastructure to capture some of the gases and use that to make energy or sell on the free market. If every single landfill did the things that Republic does with their landfills wouldn't have half the bad name they do. But until we're done having landfills, we want to have landfills like Roosevelt. So, I mean, heck, Spokane went out for their RFP, I want to say about 8 years ago, and they saved their residents 25%, but they did it right. They didn't rush it. They knew where the deficiencies were. And here's another key. If, let's say Lacey they got a 10-year contract that renews every day at midnight, same with Tumwater, okay? Now, let's say you gave your notice, 7 years, that's when you start your RFP process. Now, the reason why it's a 10-year process is because companies like Waste Connections have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars buying these tipping machines and trucks and all the infrastructure they need. So it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's how they guarantee they don't lose a big chunk of money, is because they have a 10-year contract. So my thing was, hey, why don't we and Tumwater get together, give notice, and in 7 years we could structure our RFP, and we could do anything we want, right? We could do a franchise fee. So what if Lacey did a $5 million franchise fee, okay? Now you have the sales tax thing, right? It does this, up and down, ebb and flow, right? So in the bad times, everybody's panicking, you have to cut services and stuff, right? Well, wouldn't that $5 million bridge that gap, right? And then in the good years, you have an extra $5 million you can put in reserves. It makes sense to me. It's just it's a business. You have to run government like business. But I mean, heck. And the last thing I want to touch base on before I forget is there's good government agencies like the assessor's office and the treasurer's office, the prosecuting attorney's office, where they work their budget and they're as efficient as they possibly can be. And government always gets a bad rap, right? Oh, they don't have to worry, the checks never bounce, right? Whatever. Now, having said that, there's in some instances it's true, okay? But Gary is a 40-year bureaucrat, and no matter how many bad decisions he makes, his paycheck cashes. And he's got to have 5 government retirements now, at least.
Or 3.
I'm the 35-year private sector, maybe even some child labor there is when I was a kid, but, we worked hard and we got, compensated for it. But, a lot of families had farms and they worked real hard and they didn't get a cent. But what I'm saying is if I make bad decisions, my kids go hungry, my family goes out of business, and it's serious business, and it's not, something that I have the luxury of self-serving the little circle of people that I value more than everybody else. So.
Great. Got another probably a final question, because we're about out of time. There's several people that asked, they said, well, in the primary, you're just running in your district. And you did come in, pretty high percentage behind Gary Edwards. How do you think this is going to affect your outcome in a countywide electorate? And on top of that, what can we do to help you achieve that goal to win?
It's like Chesty Puller said in the Korean War when he was surrounded, the 1st Marine Division was surrounded by 7 Chinese divisions. He said, and it's probably a bad analogy, but I'm a Marine, right? He said, we got them right where we want them. We were shooting any direction. Okay? Okay, so bad analogy, right? War's never good. But what I'm getting at is, look, the Republicans always show up more so in the primary as they do the general. Democrats always show up more in the general than they do the primary. Having said that, Gary's first on the ballot. Okay, he's an incumbent. Those are all 3 to 5%. Mm-hmm. So if you take that into consideration, he's really behind. Now, having said that, the most conservative district is mine, and I still carry Lacey. I will always carry Lacey. Lacey values me as much or more than I value them, right? They know I work hard for them, and they know I've made a huge impact. I mean, they were looking at $1 million overlay program that they hadn't funded in 6 years. And I was like, well, why don't we just do this? Mayor jumped on board, Anyways, so what I'm getting at, so that all that together, now it goes to countywide, okay? Now the Republicans showed up 30% higher than ever in history. So he better hope to God that peaks again, because if it even drops a little bit with all the things I said before, now he's really behind. Now with the county, going countywide, I pick up Olympia and I pick up Tumwater, and Tumwater's more liberal than Olympia is now. So how's that going to fare for him? But we as Democrats have to show up. This is a thing I do not understand. My whole life has been Union, Democrat, united, solidarity, and then we show up in masses and we vote. And we vote people that value us in our working class, in our middle class, in our small businesses, which Democrats own more small businesses than anybody else. That I know for a fact. What I'm getting at is, if we do what we need to do, we win. But they better do everything they've done plus some, or they lose. I'm feeling really good about this. I was 2 points higher than Kelsey was, and she gained 7% from the primary to the general, and she lost just by a little bit. Mm-hmm. But you know what? They didn't have a 30% increase in show up, and neither did we. And if that would have happened, we would have won that. So we have to get together. We have to get our you-know-what together and our you-know-what's in gear and get it done. Because there's more riding in this election than there's been in any election for 20 years. Really? So I help organize for the sheet metal workers down in the Bay Area. What's his name? Wilson, Governor Wilson. He was anti-labor, anti-working class. We organized for that. We organized against Dino Rossi. We need to do it again. Mm-hmm. You think Culp's much better? So.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. What else? Oh, there's quite a few people wondering when it looks like apparently you're out of yard signs, or our group's out of yard signs.
Yeah. So I gave another 100 to Rory, and so they're distributing them. We're ordering more.
Okay.
We're having a fundraiser on the 9th.
Okay.
Excuse me. And So most of our efforts are going towards that. But Capital City Press is on our radar. We've been talking. We're actually doing a dual, well, more than dual. It's a big combined effort with Sam Hunt and Jessica and Beth and myself and Carolina, a mutual flyer with all us 5. So look out for that. It's going to be a good one. And that's what I'm talking about, being creative. You know, we're the innovative party. You know what I mean? We're the ones that care about each other and do things for each other without a paycheck or money on in it for us, because we don't need that. We just need each other to be successful and thrive. So that's the Democratic Party I know, you know, and we're going to come together and we're going to shock this county, and we're going to send Gary back into a second retirement or a third or whatever you want to call it. That's all I know for the next 60 days. I'll work hard for you guys, and I will represent you. And you're my voice, man. You guys are the ones that give me the ideas, the creativity, and tell me what's important. Our community values. So lean on me. It's you know, when I get the job done and people are happy because of it, it's just it's a feeling I can't describe, but that's the win. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm ready to work for you guys. Lacey will be fine.
Appreciate it. So,
was there anything else?
I think we've covered it. We've kind of run out of time. So
Yeah.
there's a lot else, but we sure love having you here, Michael. You got us all enthused. I'm looking at some of the comments in the chat, and they're amen, and let's get this done. And for listening to you talk, you're pretty motivational, and we love it. So
yeah,
I've been here plenty long enough
once I get on a roll, I'm pretty good. But it's like, you know, I feel really comfortable with you guys. I know the support's there. You know, it just empowers me. So thank you for that, because the world of politics can be pretty brutal sometimes, but I got big shoulders, and, you know, I hate to go it alone, but we're way better together than we are divided.
That's for sure. Agree with that totally.
Hey, John, this is Kelly. I just want to find out if there's any places out by my area in Steamboat. I live out the Steamboat Island exit, where he wants some yard signs, because we'd be willing to do that work.
Okay.
Out here in our area.
All right. I know I have a few left with me, just because I knew there'd be some, you know, needs popping up here and there that would just be easy for me to drop off. So I can get some to you, and we'll get some right away. We'll call Capital City and get them going on that. We're trying to get the mailer together, and, you know, with 5 different campaigns, or 4 including mine. It took some lifting, but we got some big people on our side. We're getting some support from Seattle, of all things, because get this, they see the value of no Gary Edwards in Thurston County, and they're willing to come down and work for a lot less to get a little feather in their cap too, because they see it. You know, when the technical firms that run these numbers, and that's all they do, and they see the situation where, hey, man, we're down by 7, almost 8%, they see the value. They want to be a part of that. I'm telling you, we're gonna make a big splash in the water, and we're sending a message. Better not be running as no independent or no party preference, because you're gonna get your butt kicked.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael.
Hey, can I ask a quick question?
Go ahead.
So, Michael, how much money do you need to do more yard signs? I just donated $100 to your campaign right now. What do you need?
I can't see who's talking, but thank you.
Oh, sorry. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great.
Thank you. So it's not that much, a few $1,000, but I mean, we've done pretty good in the last couple of weeks, where campaigns are really stagnant, you know, in especially fundraising.
Uh-huh.
But ours is steadily coming in still.
Right.
But you know, we're gonna make a big push, and we're gonna, you know, and that's the other thing I want to mention too. We didn't do any flyers, not one flyer. We didn't get a doorbell, which is my strength. When I get to talk to people, and it's, you know, it's very clear to them immediately that I know what I'm doing, and I care about them and their neighbor, and their neighbor's neighbor, and then we get to have a real discussion. Even if they're really, really conservative, they still value a lot what I say. And, you know, it's those ones in the middle that Gary's, I think, is going to lose. Maybe not in the deep South County, but I think he's in trouble.
Melinda,
Melinda has a question.
yes, I saw her hand up.
Hi, Melinda Holman. I'm the co-lead of the Get Out the Vote writing team, and we have 4,000 postcards waiting, written for you, handwritten for you, waiting for you to tell us when you want them mailed. So just let me know, and they're ready to go.
Oh, that's awesome. You know, and this is I mean, to a micro level in Lacey, this is what I'm used to, but it wasn't always that way in the big picture, and it's really overwhelming. It's flattering, makes me feel good. I mean, that so many people believe in what we're trying to do and who we're trying to do it for. And it's really awesome, and it really makes me feel good. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you. It means the world. So,
You know when?
Well, you're very welcome. So,
Hey, Michael, it's Bill DePoto
hey, Bill.
in Jubilee. How you doing?
Yes, Jubilee, right next door.
Yeah. Would you be interested in coming in doing a Zoom with us? I mean,
Absolutely.
it sounded like you know, Lacey was in the bag, but you might.
No, well, no, I have to take care of, you know, my base. You know,
Okay.
and everybody that's listening, Jubilee is what got me elected in city council. You know, them and Panorama, and the business community. You know, but the backbone and did all the heavy lifting and has been with me since day one has been Jubilee. And I was the first resident board member of Hawks Prairie Community Association, which Jubilee is a sub-association of. And man, you know, they love this community. Like I said, seniors, first-time homeowners, single housing, and I mean, you name it. Everything's here. And that's what we want. We want to have nice parks, a nice trail, you know, enjoy things with our family when we get the little bit of time off we do get. So,
All right. I'll
thanks,
send you
Bill.
an email. I'll send you an email.
100% in.
Okay.
all right. Well, now I need to rely on my team. Do we have any more questions out there, the people with hands up or anything? Because I can't see everybody.
I have a question, and I'm sorry I missed the very beginning. I just wanted to ask about sign waving. If there is going to be any sign waving, and is that when it might be happening, and who is in charge of this effort?
Well, my big thing was when we had the grand opening of the overpass, when they started actually going the opposite directions on the diversion diamond at exit 111, the pedestrian thing is right in the middle. And I wanted to have our big sign waving team there, you know, happy that we have the interpass upgraded and working, only that it's not open yet. It's open now. But yeah, I think it might be a little bit too late to do something for Labor Day, but that's what I'm trying to get my team, pressure them. If we can't do something on Monday or Tuesday, when, you know, coming home traffic on Tuesday after a long weekend, or even Monday when everybody's coming, you know, back home from the long weekend, I think it would be awesome. But it's kind of a late thing. We wanted to do it, but like I said, it was closed, and so it was kind of unfortunate.
But after ballots drop, after they're mailed, would that be a good time to?
That would be a great time. Yes. I in my brain, I saw, maybe the first day do exit 111, the next day of the week after the ballots are dropped, do, exit 109 and then 108, and then try to work our way all the way down to 93rd or something. I don't know. It's just something I thought would be cool, and just try to represent all the cities and towns that run through I-5. I don't know. I got a lot of ideas. That's your guys' job, is to keep me with the blinders on, right? So, hey, something's shiny over there. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
What about the postcard?
So, yeah. I think that probably wraps it up for, we all appreciate you being here, Michael. And
thank you, guys.
Go ahead.
You guys have been a shining star out of all this from the very get-go. You guys said what you're going to do, and you carried through, and man, it's an awesome feeling. Just, people do what they say, and they believe in what they talk about, and it's, I really feel the support. I want you guys to know that. So,
Thanks.
Welcome.
all right, you guys have a good weekend.
Thank you very much.
We're going to be at Kohl's tomorrow between 12 and 3 with the Gold Star family memorial mock-up that we're trying to bring a memorial for the Gold Star families here in Lacey at the Civic Park by Applebee's. And we'll have a mock-up of it. And it's a big lift, it's $60,000 to $100,000. But my other little thing that I'm trying to do is make Civic Park kind of a destination for memorials and stuff. I want to bring a Medal of Honor recipient monument. We're doing an honor wall, a bunch of stuff. But we're a military community with JBLM, and it's important that they know they're supported. And again, it all boils down to us politicians doing our job, so we don't ever need to use them. But when we do, it's good that they know they're supported and loved just like anybody else, whether they're swinging a hammer or flying a plane or, fixing the toilet. We all got value and worth. So anyways, enough of that. You guys have a good weekend, and I sure appreciate you having me.
Thank you.